Steve Nash, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, Shawn Kemp, Kawhi Leonard, Dennis Rodman, Karl Malone, Clyde Drexler. What do these guys all have in common? Is it that most were drafted by Greg Popovich, R.C. Buford, and the San Antonio Spurs? No, but those guys really do know how to draft talent. What these guys all have in common is that they were severely overlooked by at least 10 teams and drafted outside of the top 10 in their respective years. Now, to be fair, there are a lot more guys to add to this list, but we would be here for a while if we did that. Can you name any more guys who can be added to this list? Coulda, shoulda, woulda. No matter what sport or league you love, it's easy to look back at prior year's drafts and say things such as, how was so-and-so not drafted higher? Or how come this player was overlooked by a dozen teams before drafted? It's easy to play armchair GM, or in our cases, desktop, smartphone, tablet GMs. We all do it, even as we state our picks as to whom each team should draft in this upcoming year's NBA draft. Let's revisit our top picks in 3 years and see how accurate we really are. I am sure no one will want to play that game. No one really knows what the future holds. All you have to do is throw the dart and hope it hits. I'd shoot for the moon, but I'm too busy gazing at the stars. Eminem. The song lyric sums up exactly what it's like to be a GM in real time. Sometimes things look good or are expected in a positive view, but again, how do you really know? But before we jump in, please remember that if you've enjoyed this video thus far and can't wait to play Dr. Hindsight and see how the 1996 NBA draft should have shaken out, please remember to hit the like and subscribe buttons and make sure to tell your friends and family about the journey we are about to embark on. Now let's dive in a bit deeper. Now, before we go any further, were you able to guess any more big names who got tragically overlooked by many teams on draft night? If you guessed Kobe Bryant, you are correct. Names such as Vitaly Potapenko, Samaki Walker, and Todd Fuller were all drafted above Bryant. But to be fair, there were a lot of big names and Hall of Famers in that draft above him as well, such as Allen Iverson, Ray Allen, and Stephon Marbury. Like I said before, it's easy to sit back and point out the mistakes. But the fact of the matter is, if we had to replay the 1996 draft over with what we know now, things would definitely go a little differently, and it would have totally altered the course of the NBA as we know it. So let's have a little fun and recreate the top 5, starting with pick 5 to pick 1, and how they should have been drafted, and where they would have fell. Again, even this is arbitrary and up for debate, so you should comment below on who your top 5 would be for the 1996 draft. At number 5, the Minnesota Timberwolves select Stephon Marbury. The Minnesota Timberwolves traded the rights to guard Ray Allen and a 1998 first-round draft pick, Rasho Nestorovic, to the Milwaukee Bucks for the rights to guard Stephon Marbury. So, not much would have changed for Marbury at the start of his career or draft night. Now, the man can play in any NBA era. Don't let me tell you how special Starbury is. Let the man himself do so. The way I played, it's my style. And my style, it fits in any era. Power, strength, finesse, jump shot, jump, dunk. You didn't have guys doing the things that I was doing on the basketball court at my size. How many guards do you know scored going through the middle of the paint? Marbury was a firecracker who didn't come with baggage, but when he played and didn't let anything else affect him, he was a treat to watch. Even with the same pick they got, still no Kobe. At number 4, the Milwaukee Bucks select Ray Allen. In 1996, the Timberwolves drafted Ray Allen 5th overall, but was traded to the Milwaukee Bucks with a future first-round pick for the draft rights to Stephon Marbury. So, just like Marbury, not much would have changed for Allen and his impeccable shooting form individually, but the Bucks would have traded the Timberwolves and could have added other pieces. Ray Allen was one of the league's best scorers for much of his career, developing into one of the best three-point shooters of all time. Allen's strong play helped him earn 10 All-Star Game selections and 2 NBA championships, and he became the NBA's all-time leader in three-pointers. He also holds many franchise marks for three-pointers for the Bucks, Supersonics, now Oklahoma City Thunder, and Celtics. However, Ray was more than just your prototypical three-point specialist. He was an all-around scorer who was the number 1 scoring option for the Bucks and Supersonics, averaging over 21 points in 9 consecutive seasons. In summary, his abilities for almost 2 decades made him not only one of the best players in this draft class, but also a shoe-in Hall of Famer. Also, they would have missed out on Kobe again. At number 3, the Vancouver Grizzlies, now Memphis Grizzlies, select Steve Nash. Maybe the Grizzlies would have been more relevant. Maybe they wouldn't have moved out of Vancouver. And maybe, just maybe, Nash would have gotten to play in his home of Canada. Steve Nash, newly minted coach for the Brooklyn Nets, developed into one of the best point guards at the collegiate ranks during his 4 seasons at Santa Clara. Nash's career took off with the Mavericks and Phoenix Suns, earning 8 NBA All-Star Game selections, 2 NBA MVP awards, 3 All-NBA First-Team nominations, 2 All-NBA Second-Team nods, and 2 All-NBA Third-Team selections. His 4 seasons, shooting at least 50% from the field, 40% from three-point range, and 90% from the free throw line, is the most in NBA history. He also finished 3rd all-time in NBA history for career assists behind John Stockton and Jason Kidd. During the prime of his career, Nash was easily one of the best point guards in the association. He had great court vision and top-notch passing skills that made everyone around him that much better. As great as Nash was, he's still no Kobe. At number 2, the Toronto Raptors select Allen Iverson. AI, the answer. A Toronto Raptor? I'm sure they would have loved to draft him rather than Marcus Camby at the time. And even though Camby was a decent center in the league, he was no superstar. Could you have imagined Vince Carter and Iverson playing next to each other? Unfortunately, he wouldn't have seen the amazing 2001 Eastern Conference Championship when both were trading 50-point games through the 7-game series that saw AI's Sixers squeak by Carter's Raptors by 1 point. Maybe last year's Raptors championship would have been their second rather than first. And at number 1, the Philadelphia 76ers select Kobe Bryant. Kobe lived in Italy before moving to the United States. In fact, when Kobe first entered the league, he wore number 8 in honor of Mike D'Antoni, a great in the Italian basketball world, and now a great in the coaching world. When his family settled in the US, they moved outside of Philadelphia, so it would have been fate to have the Sixers draft Kobe number 1 overall, like a fairy tale story come to life. This Sixers team evolved nicely with Allen Iverson as their superstar and main piece. But would they have been able to get over the hump and win an NBA title? Maybe so, because it was Kobe's Lakers that beat Iverson's Sixers in the finals. With no Kobe, the Lakers aren't the dynasty that they were. The Black Mamba also starred in 18 All-Star games. He concluded his career 3rd on the all-time NBA scoring list, trailing just Abdul-Jabbar and Karl Malone, and he will be the youngest player to reach 33,000 career points. In his 20 seasons with the Lakers, he won 5 NBA titles, 2 NBA Finals MVP, 2 NBA Finals MVPs, 1 NBA MVP award, 11 All-NBA First-Team selections, 9 NBA All-Defensive First-Team nominations, and 4 NBA All-Star Game MVPs. The Black Mamba has done it all. He recorded the second highest individual scoring performance in a single game, 81 points, versus the Raptors in 2006. The decisions to overlook Kobe and draft others during the 1996 draft is another classic example of coulda, woulda, shoulda. If you have the powers to see how the draft should be, years later, then you should be playing the lottery, or become an actual NBA GM. So, until then, keep creating hypotheticals and the drama. Rest in peace, Kobe and Gigi Bryant.